I'm here to tell you that the spiritual world that Kabbalists discover in 5 new spiritual senses, tangibly, solidly, beautifully, is revealed by way of a process with which you're already familiar. You're familiar with the term acquired taste, but did you know that pretty much everything is an acquired taste, even a baby's sight? They start actually seeing only after a few days as the different forms form into shapes and then the shapes form recognizable patterns. It's the same with the transition from mama's milk to near flavorless foods, to a little bit of salt, to a little bit of spice. Usually people also get acquainted with alcohol in a way that they drink sugary drinks until they get to the point when they can drink straight tequila or whiskey. Vegetarians too develop tastes for all kinds of grasses, vegetables that to many of us taste disgusting. Now, even though this is a totally corporeal, non-spiritual example, we can learn something from the inversion of values that takes place when what some people would call health nuts become very interested in food, but in a different way than most of us are. Like many of us are foodies, we think about how can I discern more and more subtleties of flavor and add to the pleasure of the food. Such people who decide that they're placing health above all things start looking at food in a totally different way, where instead of enjoying the flavor of the food, they start, this sounds strange to us, but they start enjoying the nutrition that they're getting from the food. Like the fast food that might make me drool, they look at that as biohazard, something they want nothing to do with, and they look at an avocado, no salt even, just an avocado, they look at, oh, look at the nutrition that I'll gain out of this. They start enjoying only the nourishment, feeling good from the nourishment, and sugar and fried stuff actually starts tasting bad to them and making them feel bad if they ingest it. Similarly, some people are into fasting, and I hate to miss a meal, but such people, when they feel the feeling of hunger, as they're getting to 24 hours of fasting, 48 hours, 72 hours of fasting, they feel better and better. Because there's an inversion of values. They have a higher goal that tastes better than the food tastes. Now, the important thing for us to understand for spiritual work is just that there can be such an inversion of values. There can be flavors in other tastes with which I'm not yet familiar, with other experiences, with other worlds. And the Kabbalist Rabash, by no means a health nut, said because he did go through some hard times, he lived through hard times and times when there were no food, and he said that there were many, many different flavors in hunger, as many varieties of deficiencies in hunger as there are in the satiation we get from different meals. And there are internal value systems by which I can view such states of hunger as destitution, or if I'm an intermittent faster, I can view them as great, as working towards a great goal, and I enjoy all of the new flavors of emptiness that are revealed. I thought that the only good and satisfying state to be in was a state of being full and satiated, or I thought that the only good state was sobriety, and I learn about drunkenness for the first time. Kabbalists don't consider drunkenness or starvation things to aspire to, but from this we can learn that there are states that we're not familiar with that could be great, one of which is the spiritual state. The quality of bestowal, where I come out of myself. I used to think that living inside of myself, thinking about myself from morning until night, how will I be safe? How will I do things in the environment to ensure that I'm happier, safer, better off? That was the best state I could be in. Now it's possible to move to an external state where I'm outside of myself mostly, taking care of my basic needs, but I live mostly outside of myself in the higher values established by the upper force, in the quality of bestowal. And this to me taste better than what I used to feel as the best taste in the world, which was thinking about my desire to receive. Like if you're in some maybe partying college environment where everyone's offering you cocktails, beer, here, try one. Eventually you get influenced, even if initially you weren't interested in this, as you expose yourself to the wisdom of Kabbalah, even though you hear things that you're not really interested in, Malchut, Zeranpin, Atzilut, the words of Kabbalah, they actually work on you from the inside, working on this inner change, this inversion of values. And eventually you start developing in this direction outside of yourself, because the words that you read in the books of Kabbalah develop the vessels of your soul, which are actually outside of yourself. You start feeling that there is a vessel there. Just like yourself you feel now, you start feeling them outside of yourself until your 5 spiritual senses are complete in their development and you live in them eternally in an upper world.